Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hope Without Sight in the new year 2023 for episode 21. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, of course, the goal of this podcast is to inspire others to overcome challenges in life. And by the way, this is Sailor Cooper and Tyler Evans.
This is Tyler Evans.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Yes, we have big goals for this year to hopefully start making money in speaking and podcasting. We're going to figure it out. But the next guest we have on today, actually, he is amazeballs, as Kimberly Crow says it. I met him. He's appeared on many events, from Speakers Playhouse to Potapalooza to Podcasters Connect and Collaborate. He is a triple threat: science for the mind, karate for the body, and music for the soul. And get ready for your mind shift. He'll tell you all about it. You should just face everything and rise. Please welcome Raja Vaidya. Raja, how you doing today?
Hey, Sailor, what's up, brother? Thank you so much for having me on the show, and you get a ring of the victory bell for being so freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Go.
Yeah. So tell us about your story. I read your bio. You're a triple threat for the mind, body, soul, and music. You've done karate, and you've helped people have confidence and rise to the top when they didn't think they could. I don't mean to point this out to you, but I mean, you've admitted it. I've noticed it, and I'm sure you're okay. I noticed you do have a stutter, which everybody has something of some sort.
Yep.
People can't help it, but despite this, you've won Toastmasters awards. Yep. You've spoken, and you have not let that stutter hinder you. So yeah, take it away. Tell us about yourself.
Well, here's really how it starts out as a kid. It started with bullying, and first of all, Sailor, I got to say for you, I'm so impressed with you because
Thank you.
What you do and how you show up and you show for your audience is really fantastic. So I give you a lot of props for that, a lot of respect, man. And so when I was a kid, I was born in India, but we came to America when I was very young, and so perhaps sometimes I can be speaking like this. I can make my accent if you like, but I can also turn that off too.
Yeah.
And
That's really cool.
So when we came to the school system here, we were first in Northeast Philadelphia, and I grew up playing with children of every single background and color and race and ethnicity, and we had a blast. And we didn't know what color was. We didn't know what race was. We just know we played. Whoever could run fast could play soccer better or play basketball better. We just had a good time playing together, and that's it. Once we moved away from the city into the suburbs, I noticed that I was the one Indian kid out of a sea of all white children, and so some of those kids took a shine to me and had to point that out, and so I didn't even realize that, and then started my bullying story. Is that I got picked on a lot because I had 3 strikes against me. I was a skinny Indian kid with big Coke bottle glasses, and on top of that, I had a stutter. So I was an easy target for bullies. And as I talk about this, my God, it's like it always triggers me again. But I struggled a long time going through that, and even at that time, the teachers thought that I was actually mentally retarded because of my speech. So they put me in the lowest educated classes, thinking that's where I belonged. And so,
Wow.
Yes, they did. So it took them 3 years to finally realize they made a mistake. And so I got out of those special ed classes. I mean, I actually didn't mind, because then I just thought I made a whole bunch of new friends, because I didn't see people that way. But then finally, when they saw what my grades were and what my state aptitude tests were, they knew that I needed to be somewhere else. And I kept telling them, it's like, even though I like it here, I think I can do more. And I would tell them that. And teachers didn't like me because I actually stood up for myself. And by the time I got to 5th and 6th grade, I had the highest scores, not in my class, but in my entire grade in both math and science.
Wow.
So then by the time they got to 7th, 8th grade, they finally put me into advanced math and algebra classes, things like that. By 9th grade, a lot of my friends were in the gifted program, and I asked why wasn't I in it. They said, "Oh, well, you had to be tested when you were younger." I said, "Okay, well, test me. What's the big deal? Is it hard?" And guidance counselor said it wasn't possible. I had to bring my father, talk to the principal, and say, "Listen, I think this is where I belong. Why can't they test me?" They say, "Oh, it's a budget issue. We're not sure if we can afford it." I'm like, "Is that it? Well, freaking pay for it. Get the test." So finally, when we said that, they said, "Yeah, you're right. It's kind of embarrassing that we hold back a student who actually wants to learn." I said, "Yeah." So they finally did all that, and they tested my IQ and all these other parameters, and they, lo and behold, they say, "Yeah, you should have been in the a gifted program all along." So because of people's perception of what stuttering, what they think it is, I was held back from a lot of opportunities. So then finally in 9th grade, I got into halfway through the school year, I got into the a gifted program. And man, it just changed my life, because then I felt like I belonged in the right place. And I always like the smart people in life, because I always like that, they're more creative, they're more challenging, they like to do more things. So I just find that it's a lot more fun, because you get to do more in your life. And I joke around right now that life is short. I'm only going to live to 150, and so I got a long way to go still. So in the meantime, I'm going to take advantage of every single opportunity now I can. And even though I did stutter a lot, when I joined the choir because that was the one place where I felt free verbally, because I could sing.
Wow.
That's a little bit about me. And then part of the reason why I took karate, same reason, I wanted to stop the bullying. And I went to my parents and asked. I had seen the Karate Kid on TV, and I said, "Oh, that's it. That's the way to change my life," because the bullying was getting really bad, especially in the middle school. It was beyond bullying. I got terrorized.
Oh my God. And
There was a kid in my class. He would punch me in the back.
No.
Behind me, and the teacher couldn't see it, so they would always miss it. So he got away with it for years. And and at the playground, they even made a 4 kids thought it was funny to make to make a stuttering song to talk about me. So if you ever seen any of those videos, like Stranger Things, where like 11 is like the one kid being bullied and everybody's laughing at the one kid, that was me. So and it was at that moment I decided things are going to change. I'm going to make it change, because I see that the teachers don't see it, and they don't know how to change things. So I'm going to do it. So I went to my mom and dad and said, "Hey, I want to take karate." My mom tells me, "Beta, no, you don't take karate. You going to get hurt." Then I asked my dad, and my dad said, "Okay, Raja, let's go to school. Let's go see." So I go to the karate school. We check it out for one class. Then my dad signs me up for a year. I'm like, yes, score. I finally get to start on my journey. And so fast forward 5 years, got a black belt. By the time I was 16, I was a world champion. Then I decided that I was going to try for the Olympics. And so I made a 2-year plan to train 6 days a week, 4 or 5 hours a day. And then 3 months after my 18th birthday, I won one of the major East Coast qualifying competitions.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So did you go to the World Olympics or Summer Olympics?
I had qualified for the '94 Winter Games, but at that time my mindset wasn't really very positive. My parents told me, "Well, you got a scholarship to college, forget this karate stuff." So I listened to them, because they thought what was important was me being a doctor, lawyer, scientist, engineer, something important like that. So they didn't understand karate, and they didn't understand like, oh, why you want to be like Bruce Lee? I said, no, that's not what I want to be. I just want to compete for my country. But they didn't understand that, so I was dissuaded from that. So that's one of my missed opportunities in life that I wish I could go back and say at age 18, man, I should have gone out to Colorado Springs and trained for 2 years. But my parents at the time didn't understand it, and us being first a generation in America, there was a lot of barriers to getting into something like that, and part of it was my own. Is I thought I wasn't good enough because of my speech. I'd have to talk to a lot more trainers and people and judges, and I said I don't know if I want to go through that embarrassment. If I could do something where I don't have to talk and I can just compete, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But part of the reason was I was tired of people judging me for it. And and what's odd is like now, when you look back at what I've done now I'm a six degree master black belt. I've been a world champion. I'm in the multiple black belt halls of fame. I've done a martial arts movie called The Martialist back in 2018. And we're now filming the sequel. It's on IMDb, and there's also a martial arts, the Martialist comic book series. So we've already released 3 issues.
Wow.
Now, also, I've been a cancer scientist for 25 years. So now, as I pivot out of research and I go into mindset coaching, and what I really do is I help introverted executives and introverted entrepreneurs to use these 5 steps to creating black belt confidence.
Wow.
If I can do it, I think anybody can do it. And,
Oh yeah.
And you hear me now. I'm still not perfect. That's okay.
That's
so
okay.
What I tell people now is like, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
I used to apologize for my stutter. What the hell am I doing? Why am I apologizing?
And if you don't mind me asking, was your stutter like? Did you ever get speech therapy? Was your stutter worse than it is now?
Oh yeah, years of speech therapy, and it would go from like totally pointless to maybe to help a little bit. I even got this device called a fluency master they put around your ear that helps connects to your bone conduction, so you could actually try to hear yourself faster than what you actually hear yourself speaking, to try to change your voice patterns. I also went to a 4-week intensive up in SUNY Geneseo, place called the Starbuck Fluency Clinic. It was a 4-week intensive program over the summer to retrain how you speak. Now, a lot of us don't realize speaking is a very complicated process. So if I say like, say the word stop, but say the word stop without touching your teeth. You can't do it.
No, you can't do it. No.
Right? Right? So I say unique New York. You see how your mouth opens and closes?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Say the word first. First. You have to purse your lips. Now what you're doing is you're doing different kinds of sounds. You have vowel sounds, you have unvoiced vowel sounds, you have consonants, you have explosive sounds, you have unvoiced consonants, and all these things are kind of a mishmash of how you use your teeth, your soft palate, and your lips in combinations. That's why children, when they're young and they lose their front 2 teeth, they have a hard time saying stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Instead they say top it, because they can't get that S out.
And that's normal, and that's temporary.
And that's normal. It's temporary.
Yeah.
And they kind of work their way out of it as their teeth grow back. But that makes you realize that, wow, that can be affected. So for me, concentrating on speaking fluently is a lot like you concentrating on your breathing. Now you don't have to focus on your breathing.
No.
But I do. So what I do is I have to slow down. I have to control how am I going to attack my M's. I can do an elided M. So I can say Mother Mary came to me. Rather than getting stuck, I can elide into it. My S's and F's, my unvoiced consonants, I can slide into that. I can also talk fluently like Marilyn Monroe, who had a speech impediment, and she talked like this, so she wouldn't get stuck on blocks.
So I guess breathing issues cause stuttering is what I'm getting?
I don't know. I think stress and anxiety really cause a lot of it, but also I've been under severe stress and other things, and if I yell or scream or sing something, I don't have a problem. When I do accents, I don't have a problem singing or speaking. So all these strange things, and like for example, yesterday I was on a speaker's playhouse, and like, God, I couldn't say my name yesterday.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
so
Speaker's Playhouse is packed,
I
and
know,
moves very
and I'm like,
fast.
so like Kimberly Crow's like saying like, oh, and here's an amazing speaker, Roger Beatty. He's so amazing, and I'm like, I can't say my name, you know, and so it's kind of those, and the weirdest thing about having a speech impediment, and my heart goes out to anybody who's ever dealt with it, because you can't help but become a compassionate human being
Oh
by
yeah,
having some sort of a challenge like this, because you feel the struggle yourself, so then you can empathize with other people that are going through their struggle. So all the employers, and especially corporate companies out there, make sure you hire someone who has any sort of a challenge, because they will be the most hardest working and most empathetic
that happens a
employees that
lot.
you will ever have.
Corporate companies don't see that, unfortunately.
No, they don't.
That needs to
No, they don't.
change.
And part of my
And
mission statement, Sailor, is that even at my last company, I worked the past 11 years for Johnson & Johnson. I worked on big name drugs, Imbruvica, Zytiga, Darzalex. Actually, Darzalex was my baby. I was a worldwide clinical trial operation lead for over 3 years for that. I actually made the kits being sent out to the clinical trials for over 3 years worldwide. So I actually made the kits from scratch, from raw ingredients. Actually, I actually conjugated the antibodies, QC'd them, did the stability testing, shipped them out even. So I mean, from end to end process, I did all of that. And after 3 years, when we finally got the results back, it became FDA approved. Darzalex, which is for multiple myeloma, became a $5 billion drug, 5 billion with a B. So I
wow,
can say I can put my stamp on that. I'll give myself the victory bell for that, because that's one of my big wins while I was there. And since then, my gosh, we released even in 2021, I just got FDA approval for teclistamab. That's a antibody therapy against the multiple myeloma, and also Carvykti, which is a cell therapy against the multiple myelomas.
wow.
And so if I can do all that, and but still, even at a big corporate company like J&J that has over 130,000 employees worldwide, they do not include speech disfluency as a protected disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And
They should do that,
so
because
that's
like
my
you,
mission statement, is I want to do that. I want to make sure we spread the word and we change that policy,
oh
because I
yeah,
think that I've
That's
been
right.
bullied even at work, where I've heard people down the hall talking behind my back. Like one woman I worked with, she was on the phone saying like, "Yeah, I think he's got a psychological problem." I'm like, "What?"
my God, no.
Yep, yeah. And I remember one of the construction guys, he and his buddy uh, were laughing and cackling down in the hallway, right down the hall from my office. I heard them, every single word they were saying. I was so pissed off. I was about to go up to him and take him outside and beat the shit out of him, but instead,
Ow.
I went and told my manager. I said, "Do you hear what this guy's saying? I need to go to HR." And he actually dissuaded me from that. He stopped me from doing that. He said, "No, no, no, don't worry. Just we know you're a smart guy. You're so good at what you do. Don't make problems. Don't make we'll
But
it'll
that
just
behavior is
blow over."
unacceptable. You
Exactly.
should have
So
gone
that guy
to,
should have been fired, and
yeah.
instead it was allowed to continue. So there's in my next book that I come out with, it's going to be called Hug a Bully, where I talk about the 6 different types of bullying that happen not just to children but to adults. And I'm going to add a 7th one, and the 7th one I'm going to call corporate bullying.
In the
And I've been doing
workplace.
research now on it, and talking to a lot of people who have been bullied, not just at school, but at home and also at their workplace. And you'll be surprised how many managers think just by them being able to bark orders at people that they're allowed to put people down, they're allowed to yell at people, they're allowed to change their hours at will and not compensate employees. They're not allowed to. So there's a lot of this that goes on because of titles.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And employees like me against a higher level manager who has support from other higher level managers, I can't say anything back. So that has to change.
It
So
does.
so there are many companies out there with this toxic bullying culture.
Oh,
And that's why
yes.
companies now hire me to speak at their companies. Like, I help managers engage with employees so they don't quit. So we can stop the great resignation.
That's good. I really like the work that you're doing to provide inclusivity in the workplace and spread the word that even though we may have challenges, it's okay. We can still overcome them. And those people who don't want to accept you, you know what? That's fine.
F them.
Yeah,
So at this point, I realize now it's like, the problem is not me, it's them.
So
and
it's them.
Well, look. I always tell people, look, I'm like a pineapple. I'm a little rough around the edges, but as soon as you get to the inside, that's where all the sweetness and all the goodness is. And truly, I tell my wife all the time, it's like, my wife is tough, man. She's like a pistol, she's like very, very tough with the words. And I said, honey, I'm sensitive. You have to talk nicer to me. And
Yes.
and she just laughs at me. And but she knows it's that I don't try to act like a tough guy. What I do is I especially in the martial arts, you learn tough love is the way to help people really grow, because you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear.
You got it. And also, so I like how you use martial arts to defend yourself. I mean, your parents didn't see you doing it. They thought your mom thought it would be too dangerous. You used it to defend yourself and overcome those bullies.
And not only that, martial arts, it's not about fighting. It's about standing up for yourself. It's about gaining the confidence so that you can be who you want to be. The one thing I tell people that a lot of people don't understand, with a speech impediment, you're trapped in your body. There could be 10 people all around me, and it feels like I can't talk because I got a duct tape over my mouth, because when you want to come in, you can't. And by the time that split second passes where you can interject something or answer a question, the moment is missed. The opportunity is missed. So you're trapped in your own body. And that's that feeling of powerlessness and frustration that I think a lot of people don't realize. You hear me right now. There's brief periods where I'll be fluent, and then other times where I'll just get stuck and it'll be a terrible block. And they say, oh, well, it's not so bad. It's not. And I've even had people say oh, it's not a real handicap. Other people they don't have limbs or they can't see. And I say, well, it's real to me. I think it's a matter of perception. And I was furious at that person. So I had to kind of just take the high road and say, you know what? That's a matter of perception, because you don't know what a person goes through.
That's right.
And I walked away, because otherwise I would have had a lot more words to say.
Yeah. Wow. And so, you joined Toastmasters. Even they didn't care about your stutter. They accepted you.
Yep.
And you won an award.
I did the past 2 years. I won the international speech contest in my area back-to-back years, and I went to the division level and was the runner-up. So I was one round away from the districts where they really start to get in a lot of the big name competition in there. So this year, I don't know. I'm going to try it again and see what happens. But I think also I wanted to get out of Toastmasters, because I've been in Toastmasters now for 5 years. I've been the area director. I've been the president of the Toastmasters chapter at Johnson & Johnson last year. But this year I wanted to do something new. So I went at this open competition. They had the Ultimate Speakers competition that was in Philadelphia back in July.
Wow.
And I went there with 3 hours sleep and no coffee because I woke up late because we were just at a wedding the evening before, and I luckily took home a third place trophy. So I was very pleased about that because it was a completely cold audience and cold judges who didn't know me. So if I can do that in front of a cold audience, and a lot of them thought like, wow, Roger's so poised and so like he uses his pauses so well. I use the pauses so I don't get stuck in a block, and I take a really deep breath and I try to relax. So those strategic pauses that I was using in between my speech and during my speech, and I think they just kind of work for me because it forces me to slow down and to focus more on here's an explosive consonant coming in. Oh, here's an unvoiced vowel. Uh-oh, here comes an S again, to make sure that we align into the next M so that we can go smoothly into it. So these are these things that I'm thinking. So when I tell people, when people ask what it's like to feel this, I say, all right, well, here's what you do. Start saying the ABCs, and every single other letter say, okay, stop, go, stop, go. Say it again twice, go. Okay, and make that one longer. Say that one 5 times. And you can't even get to Z yet. And they say, oh my God, that's what it's like? I say, yeah. So that's what it's like. And that's the challenge. So, and like you said earlier, Siller, people have to stand up to their fear. I mean, the whole reason why I have training workshops and I do a mind shift mastery is that, fear stands for face everything and rise.
That's a good acronym. If you don't stand up to it, you'll never conquer it, right, Tyler, as well?
Yep.
Yeah, and Tyler, you're still here, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to stand up to the fear. And Tyler, I know you have very similar stories in school with how they put you in. They wanted to put you in resource classes. I'll give Tyler the floor a bit. So Tyler, tell Roger about you.
Yeah. So I was blind, of course, and that's all I was blind. And the school didn't know how to teach me, and they thought that I needed resource classes. And my mom said, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of similar to your story a little bit, except I didn't have a problem with stuttering.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, and it's unfortunate. A lot of the school systems here in the U.S., they underestimate students in a lot of ways when they shouldn't.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I would love to change the way teachers teach and how they understand students with challenges, because instead of teaching them with kid gloves, like, oh, you poor thing, you're broken, and let's make things easy for you. No, I don't want that. I never wanted that.
No.
I remember in all the speaker networking groups that we're in, when they tell people, it's like, hey, everybody gets 45 seconds, and so somebody asked me, like, hey, would you like some extra time because of your speech issues? I said, no, I want one standard, and if I screw up, it's on me.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody else.
So you tell Kimberly, at the Speakers Playhouse, when Kimberly calls you to the mic, you just say, no, I want the same amount of time.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because look, nobody wants special treatment. I want to be seen for the skills I have, not for the challenges I have.
I hear you. We want that as well.
Yep. And here's one of my quotes I tell to my clients. Now, I started a Victory Mindset Academy a couple of years ago, and I've had clients where I help to shift their mindset, because after 38 years of teaching in the martial arts, I've seen that students go from a white belt mind lock to a black belt mind shift. And when you help people with that mind shift, that can translate into business, it can translate to life, it can translate to relationships. So a lot of people don't realize more than 95% of business development is really personal development, because you have to understand people. The psychology of connection and engagement, how to pay attention. I mean, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, but anybody out there that's a sanguine speaker, they end up talking a lot more then they pay attention to others, right? And learning how to listen, how to pay attention with empathy. For example, a lot of people listen so they can answer back. They don't listen to
Absolutely.
understand.
Makes sense. You have always, and you're right. I don't realize this too. I mean, like I'm starting a business too. It
Yep.
also, there's also personal development involved as well, because I'm learning how to understand what people want.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like a lot of people don't realize too, it's like, you have to continually do personal development. Go ahead, Tim. Or I'm sorry.
It never stops.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, look, if you asked me 6 years ago, hey, Raja, would you, 6 years ago, I was just happily working in the lab quietly, and I didn't want to talk in front of my lab team. I didn't want to have to give presentations. I'm like, oh man, do I have to? And then, one of my coworkers, she and I worked on a big project together. I actually got injured from it. I hurt both of my rotator cuffs because I was doing the work of two people, and when it came time to do the presentation, I wasn't even asked to present it, and they kept my name off of the front page of the PowerPoint slide deck. My name was all the way on the last page, when half the slides up there were mine. That's when I decided, I'm gonna fricking do something about this, because this can't happen again.
No.
And that's when I joined Toastmasters, because that was 2016. So in 2017, I found out about Toastmasters. I said, all right, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna run after this full force and see what I can do with it. And now I'm a level 5 pathway certified like international coach and a certified coach. And not only that, now I'm an award-winning speaker, and I've done a TEDx. And not only that, I've been the president of the TEDx of the Toastmasters chapter at Johnson & Johnson. I was an area director, and now I'm working on building up my speaking skills and speaking to live audiences. And
beautiful. And
yeah.
I'm doing that as well.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, are you going to Speakers Playhouse Live in Dallas? Because I'll be there.
Maybe. We're trying to see what could happen. My wife actually wants to go to India and take my daughter. So unfortunately, the timing doesn't work out for us. I really wanted to be there, so I will try. We'll see, because then I got to bring my son with me and take him out of school too. So I got to figure out how all this is going to work. But yeah, it is on my bucket list. I do want to be there, so we'll try. But if someone asked me 5 years ago that all this stuff, would you want to be a speaker? Would you want to write a book and be in a movie? And it was after all that, I think that there's Sailor and Tim, like there's a great phrase from like one of my mentors, Mark Corbison, who passed away a couple years ago, and he says that small hinges swing big doors.
That's right.
And all it takes is a small choice. You make a choice, and the trajectory of your life can change.
Yes,
that's all it takes.
Indeed.
It's a small choice. So right now, the best thing about being human, about having free will, is you can always make a choice. You are never trapped.
No.
In fact, you know what? My book, which is not out yet, but working on it, Unbox Me Today. It's all about this box of fear that people are trapped in. And it's this box of fear is made by our education, by our upbringing, by our culture, by our parents, by our friends, co-workers, by society, by social media, and the news, and many more things. And a lot of it are lies. I tell my children all the time, do not believe everything on the internet.
No.
There's a lot of fake gurus out there, fake influencers, a lot of fake things on the internet, and YouTube videos, which are just sheer nonsense. And
the internet's not always valid. No.
Yeah. And so, we have to protect ourselves. And part of that is, people don't realize when I was teaching martial arts, I finally understood this, a difference. So no matter what challenge you have out there, you need confidence, but you also need high self-esteem. and there's a difference. So imagine there's a little cat looking into into a mirror. That is
Yeah.
outward self-esteem, but you know, the cat itself thinks itself of as a lion, right?
Right.
But what about vice versa? What about everybody else sees this gigantic lion, but in the mirror, this lion sees itself as like a little kitten.
Wow.
The lion has low self-esteem. So there's a big difference. So when we teach our children, oh, just get all A's and you'll be great. Just win this achievement and you'll be great. Well, that's external. That is confidence. That's what other people's attention is on you. So when you focus on external confidence, you still haven't dived deep enough to work on that inner self-esteem. And that is what will truly transform you.
But self-esteem is internal.
Yeah. So I'm now developing a new signature talk. I've been talking for the past year or more about how to flip your fear to your superpower. And that's really about my journey now, about how you heard back, and Sailor, you were there too. Back in August, I found out about Speakers Playhouse in what, June?
Yeah.
I joined Playful Out in July. Then in August, I decided, you know what? I know people are trying to sell programs for $10,000 to get you on 100 stages in a year. That's only 2 a week. What if I did 4 a week? I could do it in half the time. So, you know, why can't I do that? So I said in August, hey, I'm going to try to do 100 interviews in 6 months and just see what happens. And I told everybody, I have no clue how I'm going to do it. But I went from I went from one training a week I was doing for my clients, just usual entrepreneur stuff, how to set up your copywriting, how to set up your autoresponders, how to, you know, make posts in Canva, how to do your social media marketing, all those kind of things. And
I'm still working on that too.
Yeah. And so I decided to shift it into, you know what? If I give my stage and I interview more people, I think I can expand my reach and my brand even faster. And rather than trying to focus on being on somebody else's shows. So that's what I did. And I didn't do it in 6 months. I actually did my first 100 in under 4 months. And then last week, guess what? I hit episode 204 in 5 months.
In your podcast, right?
Yep, 204 interviews in 5 months.
And what's your podcast called? So
it's not a podcast. It's a live stream. So on my live stream show, it's called Freedom Coaching Live, and you can watch all the old live streams as well, all the archives in the Mindshift Mastery group on Facebook. So you just search for Mindshift Mastery group, and you'll see me on stage saying, "Believe it and become it," because that's what I am about.
And honestly, Tyler, we may do live streams too. I mean, like, of course, we're in the Podcasters Connect and Collaborate. We're in the Podcasting for Partners Blueprint. We have a real variety radio station. Maybe some of the stuff is just a branch of our business. We may want to switch over to live streams eventually, which I'm figuring out things as they go. And
I love live streams because when you're live, you thrive. And then when you take action, you know, you get traction in your life.
And Roger, if you have any products you want to promote, I see some in your bio here. I'm putting these in the show notes as well. Your programs, Hire Me, varies based on time, location, event, schedule, pre-show call. There's a page. You have different tiers.
Yeah, actually, the best thing is what I can do is I can give you my link to my bio, and then that way at the bottom of that, it has my products in there. So
I have it. I'm reading your bio now. I have.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So what you have down there at the bottom, you see, I give a free gift. A free gift. There's a PDF if you want to learn some basic like business development tools, how you set up your marketing and your seminars. I have an award-winning the masterclass I do every Tuesday night, and we shift each week what we do. Last week we did mind shifting. This week we're coming up. We're going to do the speaker confidence workshop and and speaking with evaluations afterwards. And then after that, we're going to do a deep dive into more of a business mindset training. And then the fourth week of each month is going to be my 5 mind shifts of a world champion. So that really goes into that deep dive of what were the 5 tips that I used, 5 strategies that I used to become a Olympic qualifier and to make the Olympic team when I was 18 years old.
Wow.
So and that stuff stays with you.
It does. And yeah. And so I can participate in these courses too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you see the prices are all there. It's a very low investments. It's pretty easy. Even the first one I say, people like, I was thinking about whether or not I should charge for that every single month for that. I said, no, here's what you can do. You can either do like $19 a month, or you can just pay $97 for the whole year. And you get me
Wow.
4 times every
Awesome.
Tuesday, every month. So
And
that's another opportunity to really grow. Because we're going to mastermind a lot.
Because maybe if you want, like, we're still learning affiliate marketing, all that, maybe you and I can work together. You and I can work together. We can figure out how, like, Tyler, help me explain this.
How to become an affiliate for my program? Yeah.
You can pay me for promoting your program,
absolutely.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
Isn't that right,
and
Tyler?
Look, actually I have links for that. So here's if you're able to grab it from the chat here, I'll post it here. Here are the 2 affiliate links. And you can partner up here with me.
Awesome.
All right. So once you get those partner links, you have to sign up. If you have any problem with it, just tell me, and I'll just enter you myself manually, and I'll send you the link. So that way, like, it'll save you the headaches. Okay.
Yeah, great. And so this is a journey we're all on together, and I'm so excited for what's to come, and we all have gifts, and just things are just awesome. It's just great. And now, Raja, do you still work for a company now, or have you left the corporate world and you're working for yourself?
Nope. I've left the corporate world, and this is just me now with Victory Mindset Academy. So all my programs fall under the victorymindsetacademy.com, victorymindsetacademy.com. And so everybody that wants to really learn about that, go there. There's a free fast action mindset course there. It's 15 minutes long. You get 5 modules. It's like 3 minutes each, and to give you some fast action takeaways, because I think when you get fast action, that's when you get traction in your life. So take some action, gain some traction.
Yeah, rhymes, there you go. That's awesome. Yeah. Because Raja, me and Tyler, we have big goals for this year, and I know we're gonna accomplish them.
Oh, awesome. Very good. And listen, and also, oh my God, I forgot to tell you guys, anybody out there that has some kind of a challenge, whether it be physical, mental, trauma, or financial, they gone broke and came back, or anything, I'm going to be holding a summit February 22nd, 23rd, 24th. And we're still looking for speakers. There's only half the slots are already taken by people that have said, like, please keep me in stock, keep me, so I'm doing that. It's going to be a pay to play event, and there's also an upgrade possible for like being in the Amazing Humans Anthology book, Volume 1. So the Amazing Humans Anthology is going to be AHA Volume 1. So if you want your aha moment in the AHA book, now's your chance to do it, because we're going to make it a best-selling book on Amazon, like, without a doubt.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because it needs to be heard. There's so many amazing people out there who have incredible stories, and I don't want this to be a rah-rah book and inspire me, and then everybody forgets the next day. I want it to be about inspire me for 5 minutes, and then the next half an hour, I want to perspire. I want to hear what's the skills, what's the strategies you learned that you can improve your business or your program or your job or your relationship, right? So it's going to be really a dynamic. It's going to be educational and entertaining at the same time.
Beautiful.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another question I had. You know, one of my favorites of Speakers Playhouse, when the music plays, it's time for a drop. Have you done that before? Give a drop.
It's fun.
Have you dropped stuff in Speakers Playhouse before?
Not yet. I was going to, and then I got caught up with so many other things that I need to do. So
I hope to do it one
point.
day. I hope to do it. I hope to do it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend, if anybody hasn't done so, you know, join Playful Out. You know, that's a great program. That's part of it. And also, I mean, and join up with I have a 8-week course called Mind Shift Mastery Adventure, which will really reset the way you think about your life, the way you show up in your life. And that's really, I think, my core program. And it's not a cheap program because it doesn't give cheap results. But for the people that it's the right fit, that's where you really want to go to, because that's where you're going to find out that a lot of things that you've been doing, you've been programmed wrong. And your brain, like a computer, you can be reprogrammed. You can definitely break those habits and make new ones. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So your brain can be rewired. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes, it can.
Think about it this way. I gave a speech a couple years ago, and I used this analogy. Your brain is kind of like a train on train tracks. And then, you know, the train can only go where the tracks are laid. But if you learn the strategies where you can rewire your brain, you can pick up the train tracks, put them somewhere else, and now your train of thought can go where you want it to go because you chose where you want to go.
That's a good analogy there. It's a great analogy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, wonderful. So, I guess if nothing else, Tyler, do you have any questions for our guest?
I don't think so.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and close out. But before we do, we like to ask a customary ending question.
Sure.
For anybody that's struggling right now, like, what advice would you give them?
I would say fight to live, because no one else is going to do it for you.
You got to fight for yourself.
Fight to live.
Yeah.
It is your right. And that's the thing I think a lot of people forget, is that I'm giving you permission to fight for your life, because no one else would do it for you. And that's really what it's about. And I think I remember growing up and just being very alone and lonely, thinking, this, why me? And, you know, how come I'm the only person with this problem? And, you know, first thing is understand you are not alone. Second thing, you are allowed to stand up for yourself and become more. No one can hold you back except yourself. And when you decide that, remember, small hinges swing big doors. When you make that choice, everything will change. So go make that choice.
Yeah.
This is Coach Raja. You know, don't fake it till you make it. Believe it and become it.
You're in control of your life. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you're in control of your life. Amen.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Well,
thank you so much. I got to hop off my next meeting.
Give it up for Roger, everyone on Hope Without Sight. We hope you feel renewed, inspired, and encouraged, like you can just carry on and conquer the world.
Please hit the subscribe button on all platforms and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Blessings to all.